Good morning, goddammit. Pistol Nigga Day 290. So this is my new warm-up technique before I hit legs, is to kick the bag. Just practice my roundhouses, my teeps, my leg kicks. I find that it just... here's me kicking the bag years ago. I tried kickboxing. I tried learning a leg kick for like a day. Man, I was fucking fat and retarded. I find that if I go up and smack the fuck out of the bag for about 20 minutes, not only am I getting my practice and my reps in, I am warming up my hip flexors, my glutes, my external and internal rotators of the hips, like piriformis and all, glute minimus, stuff like that. And all these things are really important to get nice and warm, but also I am just exhausted all the time because I'm fucking training clients and then I'm tired and I just don't feel like training. But if you go and smack the fuck out of the bag for a couple of minutes, you find that your energy starts to sort of peak back up again. So yeah, it's a cool little warm up, and I find that my legs are better for it. I end up having a better workout in general, especially for legs. Everything's just kind of flowing better. So that's what I'm doing now. I just practice my leg kicks, my roundhouse, and my teeps. My roundhouse especially needs more practice. I need to get a longer bag too, because the bag I got doesn't go high enough. So I'm kind of kicking a motherfucker in the stomach as opposed to, the rib height. But anyway, yeah. 3 plates on the RDL, 5x5, or 3 sets of 5. Not too bad getting there. Get 4 plates by the end of the bulk. And now I'm doing an accessory lift in a rounded spine deadlift. I've seen people doing these lately, and everyone's saying that the fucking bee's knees. Good for back pain, good for fuck knows, who gives a shit. Thoracic extension. So I feel like my thoracic extension's not great, and the muscles around my upper back, my thoracic spines, extensors are not very big, and therefore I should start doing these for aesthetic reasons. But then also, if they're really good for lower back and all this shit like everyone's saying they are, then I should start doing them because my back is fucked up. So doing sort of a deficit deadlift here in a rounded back fashion, I feel like I could round more, and I could probably focus on thoracic extension more when I do these next time. But this was the first time doing them, just testing them out, see what I thought. And I liked them. I felt them in the hamstrings a lot too, which is cool because my RDL, I can't go into a deep, stiff leg RDL because my sciatic nerve cunts out. So I find with those, if I round my back, I can get a deeper stretch, and then I can focus a bit more on hamstrings and lower back, as opposed to the glutes, which I'm already hitting on the RDL. So I like them. They felt really good. And I feel like I could probably do a lot of weight on those for some reason. Like, I feel like I got access to things that I don't normally have access to if I'm forced to keep my spine straight. So, pretty fucking cool bananas. Cable rows here. Now, the stack, right? The stack's too light now. I'm adding extra weights on. I had like 15 extra kilos, but the fucking plates keep falling off and shit. So, I might buy a new cable row machine soon. Get one that's like 180 kilos or something. Because it is annoying having to stack all these fucking plates on the edges of this cable row machine. And it's not a great cable row machine anyway. It's kind of more of a functional trainer hybrid. I don't know what the fuck this thing is, but it sucks for cable pull downs too because it's finicky to get yourself set in. So I think I'll buy a new machine. Time to get a new one. Excuse to spend fucking money on some pointless shit that I don't necessarily need. And what am I doing? I'm just doing my neck. Man, train your neck. Do your extensors too, because a lot of people just do their flexors like you just saw me doing. And if you just do your flexors, your neck will look big, sure, but you'll get dysfunction because you'll get overuse injury of just having your flexors strong and your extensors weak. And a lot of people already have overly active, flexors anyway. So train your extensors equally too. And if you get your extensors bigger, it will only thicken out the rest of the neck. Like anytime you have a lot of muscle, superficially underneath other muscles, they just push everything out. It's like training your rhomboids to make your traps look bigger. So the extensors will only make you'll make your neck bigger. And if you don't have a big neck, then you look like a fucking twink faggot. So train your neck. Fucking overhead press. This is probably the best overhead press I've ever done. I've done 90 for 3, but I was 90 kilos at the time. This is 80 at body weight of 80 for 8 reps. So this is a body weight PR, but also I feel like I could probably bang out 90 for 2 or 3 reps right now at 10 kilos lighter than a year ago. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm hoping by the end of the bulk to get a 1 rep max or maybe like a 2 or triple of 100 kilos. 100 kilo overhead press as an Addy is elite level overhead press strength, and I reckon I can do it. So at end of the bulk, hopefully 100 kilos for something. Right now, I feel like I could probably do 90. So 10 more kilos of strength, that's very achievable in 3 months. Fucking shrugs, trying to get these tiny little traps. Traps are one of these things, man. Like, you either have them or you don't. And if you don't have them, it's pretty tough to make them big. Like, I've got clients who've been training for 6 months and have bigger traps than me, even though they're not even remotely as strong at shrugging. Like, I'm shrugging 95 kilos or something here. I've got a client that only shrugs 50, but his traps are just so much bigger because it's like carbs. Like, you either have them or you don't, and there's only so much you can do. But in saying that, genetics has a way of working where, like, for example, the overhead press, where, man, 6 years ago, I used to bench press 140 for reps when I was 120 kilos. I was a big fat powerlifter. Nowadays, at 35 kilos lighter, I only bench 105 for reps or whatever, right? But my overhead press is stronger than it was back then from a programming issue. So my overhead press, by all intents and purposes, is pretty goddamn good for a natty. 80 for 8 at 80 is pretty good. And 100, when I get it, will be especially good. And I think it just goes to show that, I have decent, good genetics for shoulders. My shoulders are pretty big, but they never used to be, and they never used to be that big. And that's because of programming. So even though I have the genetic predisposition to have pretty strong, pretty big shoulders, like slightly above average, maybe a bit above average, if you don't program that shit properly, you'll never achieve it. Because even though I was bigger and fundamentally technically stronger, years ago when I was a fat powerlifter, my shoulder press was only like 65 kilos for reps, whereas now it's 80. But my bench press, retrospectively, is not the same because my bench press, it didn't matter. I was programming that really well, and I was fat as fuck. Whereas the overhead press, it's tricky. You have to program that shit properly. So maybe you have the genetic predisposition to have decent traps, but if you're training it wrong, then you don't get them. Unless you're like exceedingly genetically gifted at something where, you can just look at the barbell and you'll grow that muscle. Sometimes you actually have to unlock your like genetic predisposition, if that makes any sense. Because if you just program something utterly shit, you'll never know if you even have good genetics for that thing. And that goes across the board in general for training. You'd never know if you have good genes if you train like shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like genes only help you so much. Anyway, peace out, bye.